Okay, so we're going to talk about what we're doing as a productized service for personal brand websites. And there's a lot of website making technology out there. People can spin up their own WordPress or Wix. They can hire a developer. They can even do stuff for free, even off of GoDaddy or WordPress.com. And there's all kinds of site building things. You choose a template and it makes whatever, right? It looks a certain way. But 99% of personal brand websites fail. You know why?
No.
Because they don't achieve the goal. There's no traffic to them. Therefore, it doesn't drive any sales. So we know that there's a 4-phase content factory, that content has to be produced. And you could have the most amazing bookshelves, but with no books on it, doesn't matter, right? Then it has to be processed or not. Meaning it has to be, the videos have to be edited, the text has to be turned into articles. There has to be some kind of processing against the content or not. You could just post it directly off of whatever social channel or off of any website. And then it has to be posted. And we know the website is probably the most powerful long-term asset you could have, because you could post on social and it dies after a day or two, but the website helps you rank for your name, for the thing you want to do, pest control, Portland, Oregon, whatever, personal injury attorney, city name. And so the place to post it is, website is one place that you can post content that can be produced and or processed and posted, and then promoted. Promoted meaning $1 a day mainly, because it's a pay-to-play system. All social networks are free. Search engines are free because you pay. That's how it works. So we know this is the 4-stage content factory. And it works for any kind of content, because any kind of content can be made independent of how it's being processed, independent of where it lives, and independent of how we promote it. Promoting can also be running it through QPromote. It can be saying thank you to people with socks. It's other ways of amplifying what's already working. Gathering success stories, that's promoting. All kinds of, promoting is how do you get more. You build your brand by what other people have to say about you, basically. So the more you amplify what they have to say about you, like Dan with his students, then the more it builds his brand. So $1 a day is one of the most powerful ways to promote or amplify, but there's many ways to amplify, and it's not only advertising. Okay. So we know that this personal brand website is one of many places that content can live. And we don't intend to replace their company website, right? We don't intend to replace their Facebook or their Twitter or their LinkedIn or all this new one called Threads, which is Facebook's Instagram or whatever, killer to Twitter clone. There's all these places that content can live. And probably the easiest thing to do from a personal brand website is literally to take what has happened on social media and just post it to the website so it can be seen by Google. And same thing with taking social content and posting to YouTube, and then posting from YouTube back into the website, because when it lives on a website URL, it can be seen by Google, because all the social networks are walled gardens. Walled gardens meaning you have to be a logged in user to be able to see it. If you have no friends on Facebook and you log into Facebook, there's nothing for you to see. Okay, so we want this website to generate a business value that's independent of anyone else that's providing a website. Because everyone else is like, you can just have your website. Okay, great. How is that different than all the other website builders? Well, one thing is it's going to rank, probably, not guaranteed, on your name. Well, that's kind of important. So if I buy firstlast.com, that doesn't mean it's going to rank. I have DennisU.com and it ranks on DennisU, but it wasn't because I have the domain name matching. The exact match domain does help. If I can rank on my name, I can trigger a Google Knowledge Panel. And knowledge panels are the precursor to what the new AI-driven search is going to look like, because search is moving from the 10 blue links to these panels, which are all driven by the knowledge graph and other kinds of things. And then I know that this is also going to drive me leads. So the people that are getting these personal brand websites are founders. They're entrepreneurs, they're owners of their service businesses, plumbers, doctors, coaches, experts, attorneys, people who are local experts, fixing toilets, taxes, all the things that you're an expert in the city. People can hire you, but there's many other people who do the same thing. So we want to drive leads mainly to local service businesses. So, and agencies too. Agencies are kind of local service businesses because they serve local service businesses. They serve real estate agents, they serve whatever it is. So they have to do the thing that their clients do, obviously, otherwise they're hypocritical. Okay, so how does this happen? Well, at the most basic level, we have a website builder that is arguably not super sophisticated, nor does it need to be, because it generates a WordPress install based on some basic information that's collected in these forms. And we can fill out the forms, the client can fill out the form, and the form can go through some level of processing, which we'll talk about in a minute, that then gets run through the website builder and then gets pushed to the personal brand website. So in the most simplistic form, we have their name, we have a profile photo, we have some picture, some things about their business, and all of this can be input in 3 different ways. One is that we scrape it. 2, it's like 4 ways. 2 is we can guess it, because it's scraping is basically you Google for their LinkedIn and grab their information and put it into our format. We can kind of infer what it is because ChatGPT and Bard are getting better and better. And if you don't show up in Bard, then you're probably not well known anyway, or not well enough known for this. You don't have to be famous well known. It can be input manually by a VA, and it can be input by the client. But of course, these are increasing levels of difficulty and friction, because to get the client to fill out this whole bio and all this, I gotta go register for another thing. That's just ridiculous. So if we can scrape off of their socials, off their LinkedIn, off of their company about page, populate most of this, our AI can kind of enhance it a little bit. ChatGPT can take their bio and rewrite it in the way that we like. We can say, hey, ChatGPT, write it in this format, in the way that we do this, and we can tell it what the format is so it knows how to do it every time. Then that's actually processing over here, right? We could collect this content. I think most of the processing will occur through ChatGPT. Doesn't have to happen now, but just know where it's coming. So it can then live on the personal brand website. In another video, I sketched out what has to happen on a website. What are the different components on the website? Well, it's going to be just like a contributor profile on Market Scale, these other places where we have this big background video. Hi, I'm Josh, and blah, 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 and welcome here. And I help these people achieve these goals through this particular method I have, goals, content, and targeting. You explain your strategy. It's also called XYZ. I help this particular kind of person solve this particular kind of problem via this method that I have. I'm Will Troop, and I help real estate agents drive more leads through my 6-phase process, whatever it might be. So they say this as a 1-minute video. If they don't have it, because often people won't give us the inputs that we need, then we just default to their image. There's always a default. The default is the profile image, or the default is a carousel going through some of their images, or the default is, there's always a default. If they don't fill in the thing, you gotta have something there, right? In a smart way that doesn't require VA to have to do anything, okay? So the homepage is that. There's always an about, there's a contact, and then maybe there's like services, what we offer, products and services. And so these 3, home, I guess is this first one. These 3 things are always here. And we talked in another session about like what happens on an about page. Well, you show your high authority articles, you link to your socials, you like all this kind of stuff because it helps you rank on your name, knowledge panel. So this can be done programmatically based on the inputs here. And we already have several of these forms that drive the website builder. One of them is kind of a clubhousey social network one, which we can modify, and another one's just like a generic build your website kind of thing. But what we don't want to do is get stuck like all the other personal brand websites or website builders where you're choosing all these different, you want 2-column layout, do you want this kind of background, this kind of layout, do you want this cool theme, do you want the sunset? That's not about this design graphical thing. It should be as simple and straightforward as you creating a LinkedIn profile. Because when you create a LinkedIn profile, you don't choose your background, you don't choose the format, it's the content. The content is actually all anyone needs to care about is this content here. And there's not website design, this is not custom anything. It's about the result that comes over here. Okay, so in the most basic format, we get their name and some basic registration information, which can be automated. If they don't fill out the things that we need, or if they don't fill it out appropriately, then the beauty of SPP and Infusionsoft is that it will nudge them. I think of marketing automation as an auto nudge, like a hag, what's the word, the nag that keeps like saying, hey, you didn't do this one thing. Hey, so if you have a sequence of things you need from people, then you should be asking them to do that. And that way you don't need a VA to do it. You can wait if you need. Okay. So sorry to get my train of thought back again. We get efficiency here because it can be self-serve in collecting this information. And these forms can also be, hi, welcome, I am Jacob Hastings, and we're going to step through this process just to let you know this is the way it's going to work. This is what the final result can look like. And you might not get a knowledge panel right away. You might not get high authority links right away, but this is the framework that we're going to keep building upon. And the first step is I need you to fill out this kind of form, or have your assistant fill out this form for us, and then our system's going to process. Oh, awesome, great, you've got this thing, our website, we started to build your website for you, and just to let you know, this basic framework is here, blah, blah, blah. And so we can automate the things that we would normally say that are responses to them having done something or not done something, which is the whole point of marketing automation. It is not a technology issue. It is a thinking process. Here's what happens step by step, because if you manually have worked with somebody to build a website before step by step, you already know what you say to them in advance of them doing something, so you can avoid the question, avoid the problems before they occur. And also, when you've done something, you can keep them notified, because if you don't communicate anything, they're going to wonder what's going on, right? So it's the same thing that would happen in a client build. Hey, how are you doing? This just want to let you know. We've already done this, and now there's 5 more things on our list. Or just let you know you are here in the mall, right? Map, but in an automated way, without having to manually do it. Now the VAs don't understand this. The VAs don't know the difference between they don't know what marketing automation is, so they just do it manually each time without realizing, actually, we have to automate that. The idea of content checklist software is we automate that. So on the most basic level, we get some basic information, fill out enough to drive these particular components. Of course, the contact is driven off of what we give them here, or they've given us here, but we can scrape it off of their business website too. If their business website's done appropriately, then we can pretty much drive these other things and repurpose it. Of course, the personal brand website is about that person, and the company website is about the company, which sounds obvious, but what usually happens, and why the knowledge panel is not triggered, is that the company website about will then focus on the bio of the founder, which confuses Google, because then it's like, which one is it? The main bio and all that should be on the personal brand website. And the personal brand websites, if these clients have personal brand websites, will talk about the company and just about the company, which then confuses Google. So it should link to stuff about the company, but not go too much about the company. The personal brand is about that person, the company is about the company. It sounds straightforward, but almost everyone has this wrong. And they also have it wrong if they only have the company site and they don't have a site under their name, because, I'm Angela Smith, Realtor. That's my company name. Why should I have a personal brand website? Because it's already my name. Because you need one for you as an entity, as a person, and you need one for your real estate, whatever agent, whatever thing you have, whatever company, right? Even if the company's named after you, still need those two, because they reinforce each other. Okay. If they have come in and they bought our Facebook for $1 a day program, which is not the course we're making free. The program steps them through this whole process here. Now all of a sudden, we have far more inputs, because they know to give us 1-minute videos, which they can process themselves, because the coaching program is, they are going through it. We're not doing the work, but we're coaching them through as they get, go through these different stages. They're posting it, and then they are running $1 a day against it. If they are a client, meaning they're on the conversion engine package, CEP, blitzmetrics.com/CEP, then we will do this for them. Well, they will still make the videos, but then we will process it, we will post it, and we will promote it, and of course run stats against it to show how it works. So no matter what we do, it's the same thing. If they buy just the Facebook for $1 a course, which I think is like $297 right now, they can go through all this, but the whole thing with the course is to get access to the modules, and the marketing automation will remind them what they need to do, but there's no personal touch. We're not there doing it for them in an agency-like way, right? Because there's 3 levels. There's free, which is watch the videos, do all this stuff, but you're not getting support for free because you're not paying for anything. Therefore, we can't put people on it. 2 is you go through a group coaching program. We're together as a group, not individually. People go through this. This is why the last 6 weeks we went through each of the 6 phases. Or the highest tier, remember we said there's 3 tiers, 1, 2, 3. Third tier is done for you, right? This is called DIY. This is done for you, and this is done with me, DWM, right? So a lot of people who are great clients, they're going to say, you know what, I'm just going to do this. It's $2,500 a month. I mean, why am I not going to mess with it? I'm going to have, I don't want to hire VAs and all that. I just want the team to do it. Okay, great. These other people, I just want to start with the $2,500 one time to go through the 6 weeks. And a lot of people will start with the $1 a day program and then move to a retainer, agency retainer, right? And then free is they can learn how to do it because we're always publishing how we do stuff. Okay, so the personal brand website is one component here, one asset here that they probably don't even have firstname.lastname.com that we can create for them. We can create in the free version, we're creating it on a subfolder. So yourcontentfactory.com or subdomain, joshhealy.yourcontentfactory.com. So now they have a personal brand website and the system can automatically go through all that because it's free. Free means we're not there to provide support. We don't do anything for them because it's free, right? You always have a free version. They can do it themselves. We show them how. They can even take advantage of our marketing automation and all that, and we'll step them through that for free because the system, the robot's doing it, so there's no cost to us, right? If we're offering something for free, there can't be any cost to us. $1 a day program, they pay $2,500, and as a group, everyone goes through, just like a class, every week we go through these things together, VA support to get it done. It's not one-on-one coaching. It's not, we'll do everything for you. It's not all you can eat. It's only according to the steps here because we know what the result is of $1 a day. The $2,500 per month conversion engine package is for local service businesses that want to drive leads, of which we will also create this as part of it, even though that's not the main goal. The main goal of the conversion engine package is to drive leads. But a personal brand website helps, builds their brand, all these kinds of things. Of course, especially if you promote, $1 a day it, DAD, that's what we call it now, $1 a day. Actually, it's not even FDD anymore, it's DAD, $1 a day. It used to be Facebook only. Now it's just DAD. Okay, so we ideally want people to start with the $1 a day program and then move to this, but people can come in different ways. Some people, they don't have a personal brand website, and this is a burning sort of thing for them, where they just want to get it done, or they already have an agency, or they, whatever it is, they don't think they need these other things. They actually do, but they don't realize it yet. So they can come in and buy they can buy $1 a day, or they can buy the conversion engine package, and we will help them do this particular piece. So either way, that we want them to come through one of these two, but people are going to come in for different reasons. They're going to come in because they really like the whole way we do 1-minute videos and process it into the 3x3 and transcribe it, and all this stuff. They really like the idea of promoting winners. They like whatever. People all come in on one component that they really like, but we're doing the same thing for everybody because the result at the end of the day is they need to get more. They're service-based businesses and they need to generate more leads. Doesn't matter, agency owner, real estate broker, same kind of thing. This is really just a long-term SEO play because SEO is the same thing as reputation management, because it's just an amplifier of whether, if you're a brand new business and there's nothing about you, then this personal brand website, there's nothing to amplify. There's no content, there's no case studies, there's no success, there's no proven product, this kind of thing. So We don't even want anyone who doesn't have an already successful business, demonstrated by lots of happy clients that are willing to talk about them and at least $1 million a year in revenue, to be going through this, because then they expect magic. They expect a personal brand website to solve a business problem. Personal brand website, as part of this content factory, is really just to amplify what's already good. If you don't have anything to amplify, it doesn't matter. You multiply 0 by some big number, still 0. All right, so we may eventually sell this particular pathway of the information necessary to drive this personal brand website, this whole thing, and then some promotion. We may eventually drive this as its own package inside SPP. Just like any other combinations of things can be recombined into different packages, but the framework that we're operating is still the same thing, right? So for that, I want to do a test for now. And it's $10,000, and it's our personal brand course, blitzmetrics.com/PBC. And for 10 grand one time, we will do all these things for them if they are figureheads. And this can often lead to having, a book and a podcast and other derivative assets, because we're still going through the same process. We're still taking their content, organizing it in a certain way, which then can be repurposed into other kinds of content. But most of the time, they don't have most of these items, and they don't even have this, or they have some of this, but none of it's been processed because they've had the podcast, but they didn't realize you can actually, chop it up using Descript and that, this whole kind of thing. So either way, people will obsess and come in on things like I really want a personal brand website. I want it to rank because I really want the knowledge panel, because I'm demonstrating by example that I have this. Okay, great. You want the knowledge panel. You want to rank on your name because a porn star ranks on your name, or some other Bob Smith ranks on your name. Great. Well, we already have a good amount of information that we found by looking up your stuff. We need some more information from you. Our team will process it, and then we will put it on this personal brand website. Now, we have a particular framework on how we build these personal brand websites. Oh, there's also blog, I forgot. Blog is actually the most important one, because we take your content, transcribe it, turn it into a blog, and then we link all the stuff together in a very particular way. Is it a secret? No. We are using Rank Math as a way to make sure each blog post is focused on one main keyword and follows our blog guidelines. So our blogging guidelines, which is per article, says, everything has to have an image and it needs to link in a certain way. And, we want a Rank Math score of 90 plus, which is a tool with WordPress that ranks each article, so we're focused on the right keywords. We're using Link Whisper to link between articles that we have. The more articles we have, the more things we can link between them. We also are building their authority by building contributor profiles on MarketScale and Blitzmetrics, which we're keeping. The website, even though we're rebranding to Content Factory, but this website still has a ton of power, so we're not gonna throw it away. And then our free ebooks site. So we're having lunch with Warren a little bit later. These are all superpower. This is DR73. This is DR61. This is this is 74. This is DR73. These are all super high SEO power things. How does that help them rank on their name and knowledge panel? Well, by having all the content organized in the right way, centralized through the website, we create the single entity, what's called the entity home, which is where all the entity home is where all the things connect into, like all their socials, all point to this entity home, which is this personal brand website homepage for their name, right? Their person name. So we have tons of content, all links between all these together, sends a clear signal, rank on their name knowledge panel. When we run dollar a day against this content that we've distributed through so we have, Q Promote, we have our Content Factory Cloud, which is it's a rebrand of Signal Genesis, but it's a press release distribution. It's PR. It looks like PR, it's actually for SEO. Like, these are all different ways of generating more signal, because the content lives in more places. We produce a report against it, of course, to show that it's living in many places. Dollar a day shows traffic. Google can see that there's people engaging on the content according to the topics that we have, and there's link juice that's flowing to this personal brand website. All these things is really just a killer SEO long-term play, not some bullshit buy fake links. Magic happens by some agency doing SEO. No. This is the only legitimate way to do SEO. Real links from real content, because it meets Google's EEAT, experience, expertise, authority, trust. Experience, meaning it comes from here. These 1-minute videos, it's real. It's not auto-generated from nothing, which is what people are doing on ChatGPT. And it's an ultimate SEO strategy. So some people who don't want to do all this stuff, they want the premium VIP treatment, they can pay the $10K one time. And we will do this particular component with the goal of ranking on their name and improving their SEO. Is it going to drive them leads off of this? No. Yes, it could, but we're not specifically doing this to measure and drive leads, because that's the whole dollar a day and this ongoing agency piece. But this is a great way in to come in on a personal brand, because now that this content's here and starting to rank on their name, their Google Maps listings rank, Google Business Profiles ranking, their social medias are starting to show. That's building word of mouth reputation. All these, it's PR really. PR, SEO, reputation management, they're all the same thing. They're literally synonymous to the same thing, right? So to make this website more powerful from a technical standpoint for Josh, then and same thing for Felix and other people that are working on this, they need to know that this is not about fancy technology. Yes, we have to push data between different systems like SPP and Fusionsoft. Yes, we have to take stuff and maybe run it through ChatGPT. Yes, we have to whatever, right? Automate certain things, or we have to do stuff eventually where, we're using Kubernetes, but that's not necessary. We're not trying to solve like server scaling issues, right? The biggest thing from a technical standpoint is making sure that we can flow information between these different stages. What causes these stages to fail is users not giving us the content or giving us the content the wrong way. So to move things along, we have a lot of training. Why do we have all this training? When people get stuck, they get stuck. They don't know they don't know what a 1-minute video is. They don't know what topic to make it on. They don't know that they actually should be making stuff according to PAA. People also ask, right? The thing you want to rank on, what are the other things that are there, right? We literally can just Google the thing they want to rank on and look at the PAA and give it to them and say, hey, make these 5 videos. And they don't realize that took like 10 seconds to figure it out. But, just all this is, training, which we have in the academy, is telling them what to do at each of these different stages. The beauty is that can happen automatically because it can be triggered by our own MAA that's looking at what's going on and then making recommendations. Oh, you know what? Good job. You made 1, 2, 3 of these videos, but you didn't make these other ones yet. They're still missing. So we only have, this, and this filled out in a 3x3. The other ones are empty. The other ones, we didn't fill it out. Tic-tac-toe, you didn't finish the thing, right? Or you did these things, but we don't see the traffic going up because you didn't promote it. Or we see that you posted it on LinkedIn, but you didn't post it to the, it lives on your YouTube, but you didn't cross-post it to Twitter, or like whatever. Like the system can easily detect when something's happened and not happened, and then say, hey, here's something we need you to do, or your assistant. If it's not you, then what's the email of your assistant? The system can keep nagging them, and then send them to the academy so they can learn how to do that particular task that's missing, right? So the beauty is that the training is here to help move people along. The training basically reduces our friction and cost of account management, because this is not open-ended where they can do whatever they want and ask us whatever random question. That would just be impossible. We have a particular framework. We only want questions against those frameworks. If they have a question that's not within our framework, it's out of scope. It's not something we want to do. Beauty also is we can use this marketing automation to give them these little, celebrations along the way. Here's a little star. Ta-da! Your website is done. We built your website. Ta-da! You now rank on 10 pages. Ta-da! You now have a DR5. You have more leaks. Ta-da! Hey, there's some good things that are, there's some great, these alerts, right? You understand alerts can be driven by our system noticing certain things. So yes, there is some technical stuff where we have to collect the data in the database to then be able to send alerts, because if you don't have the data, you have nothing to write rules against. But you see how this stuff here behind the scenes is really just an amplification of what would have happened manually. It's not like it's not like React.js. There's nothing to do with that, okay? So that's the underlying technology component. The idea of, learn, do, teach, which is one of our 9 triangles, right? You learn it yourself, then you do it multiple times to be successful, and only then can you teach other people how to do it. The exact same thing as content checklist software. Content to document as you're learning it, checklists, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on how to, in software, which is where we're automating it. So the idea of learning, doing, teaching is the same as content checklist software. The software component is the automation of what we have done ourselves. If you have no idea why we're doing these things, if you've never done any of these things, you can't automate the thing, right? So I'm giving a business level strategy without talking about the specific technical components on, is it MySQL, or how often does the API run across? None of that. I want to make sure we understand what we're building, why we're building it, how this personal brand website is different than other website generators, why we are not allowing customization. Oh, I want a double border. I want to make this thing in a certain way. This is not about design customization, because it's about these sorts of results that are measurable. And then because we have analytics installed, of course, our very, very basic digital plumbing, ideally auto installed, then we can drive triggers and show them like, yep, along the way, we are achieving the goal that we intended to do, right? This is a valuable thing for us, okay? Questions? So I'll date this so that way we know that this complements the stuff that we did together in Phoenix a few years ago. The thing we did in Phoenix a few years ago, which is drawn out and recorded, thank goodness, is to talk about what happens between the layer of the client. So the client has to, give us certain things, content. There's the VA, who's also kind of the account manager in a low-level way, and then there's processing that happens, and then there's software on what happens here, and then the different things that happen, and then as certain things come back, we go back to the client to do certain things, and the VA does certain processing, comes back here, and then goes here, and kind of what happens between these. We talked about what happens, basically, what information we're collecting here, and then the software is generating pages in a certain way, mixing it up in a certain way, right? So we talked about that in detail in another thing.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So you said you want people to be kind of like funneled in from here to here or straight to client level.
Yep.
Is the purpose of that to like kind of make a lighthouse and then turn them into a client?
Yeah. Any one-time package is designed to give them initial success so they then become ongoing clients.
Gotcha.
Because people will come in on different things. They'll come in thinking they really want to work on their personal brand because they saw a video of some influencer talking about whatever, and now they want that thing. They saw that we have this thing on TikTok, and someone else blew up on TikTok, and now they want to blow up on TikTok, which is ridiculous. But okay, fine. Yeah, we can help you towards that, but we know that what they actually want is to grow their business, meaning as a service-based business, whether they're an agency, they're a liposuction, whatever, surgeon, right? They suck fat out of women's butts or whatnot. They want more people to buy their services. So just because they go for personal branding, the majority of people that are selling fake press releases, that are selling, hey, I'll get you 10,000 followers, or selling, I'll get you on stage, or I'll publish a book for you, I'll build this beautiful website. Look at this beautiful website. Yeah, but it gets no traffic.
Yeah.
And it doesn't rank on anything. No one sees it. It doesn't drive your business in any measurable way. All of the, if they come in on personal branding, this personal branding package, we'll get these particular components going, including the advertising. People will be like, well, I can have someone else build my website. Yeah, you can. But where's the content gonna come from? And who's editing the content? Yeah, but I've got a videographer and I have a whole content team that edits my podcasts and chops them up and uses all these cool tools. And what do you think about this cool tool? And what do you think about that cool tool that I just saw? There's this cool tool that takes long form videos and automatically pulls out different snippets. Yeah, that's great. That's great. But who's posting it? And is the content organized in the right way to help you rank on the things that you want to rank for, including the related sorts of terms, PAA? And are you promoting it? Or are you just having this team mindlessly go about doing, because if the team doesn't even understand your goals, content, and targeting, how do they even know how to organize it? How do they even know how to link between these things? How do they even know what to boost? And if they boost, do they know how to optimize? Because a winner should stay on. You keep putting more money against the winner. They don't know. Oh, I have a team, I have a guy who's really good at advertising, and he owns all my Google and YouTube and Facebook ads and all that. Great, he can do that. But who's doing the posting? Because this guy might be really good at ads, but does he understand the goals, content, and targeting to optimize to these things? Does he understand top and middle of the funnel, or is he only working on bottom of funnel towards leads? The beauty is that you're getting, this is like buying a Toyota Camry, because the whole system works. If you buy this is like obviously a stretch, because let's assume the other people, the other agencies or VAs that people are using, they get Porsche, engine and Lamborghini brakes and Ferrari, whatever body. Like, you can't combine these random ass parts and make a car out of it. They don't fit. And I'm assuming that all the people they have in each of these areas are world class. It's obviously not the case. 99% of agencies are just complete fail. They might say they love saying how good they think they are. They're not. The beauty of our system is that it's integrated as a system, and it goes across these different components. Anyone can find any one particular favorite tool, any one particular, but what about this headless Hugo, website? Great. Oh, I got this new tool that uses AI to do this one thing. What about this other tool? That's great. Are you going to put this stuff together or not? Because if you don't put it together, you just have a random mess of parts on the floor. That doesn't generate anything for you. You're not going anywhere in that car. It's not even a car. It's just metal parts and plastic on the floor. It doesn't assemble into anything. The framework is what's important. That's why Toyota is so killer. Because they have a freaking framework, and everything was designed to work together. And is there a better video VA out there? Of course there is. Is there someone who's got a more sexy looking website? Of course there is. And you could spend time, shiny red object, any one of these particular, I heard this one SEO guy show this one cool tech. That's great. You go ahead and do that, but how does that fit into the whole? Do you have a system first? Or are you just like randomly hoarding all this stuff at your place? It looks like you're a hoarder. None of it is worth anything. It looks like a mess. I go to your house. Freaking boxes of random stuff. I can't even see where your living room floor is. You're a hoarder. You've collected all kinds of random shit. There's no system. And so the beauty of what we have is, this is why SPP and Fusionsoft are marketing automation, not because it's cool technology, but because it takes our systematized way of doing things, which are if-then statements. Once we do this, then we do this. It's all checklist driven. Boom, 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 boom. If you don't get it all the way to the end, if you take 1 million times 1 million times 1 million times 0, or 1 million times 0 times 1 million, you multiply by 0, you fail any point along the way. This is a weakest link issue. You fail any one of these components here, the whole thing is 0. Right? This whole 4-stage content factory, you miss any one of these 4, 0. The power of the system is you must understand that it's a system.
And so this is a new thing you're trying to introduce to
It's been 17 years ago I've been teaching this. I've been teaching the same thing every day for the last 17, almost 20 plus years.
The 10K package, like that's something you want to like introduce, like that's something new that you haven't really.
It's the same thing we've been on the calls you've been on. It's the same thing I've been promoting. I've been promoting the same thing, but we've not had the people that understand it. The reason I'm making this video again is that I want other people who understand this at the architect level, right? We said that, and there's 3 videos on this, but we said in the content factory, there's 3 layers, 3 roles, right? There's the architect. The architect oversees the whole thing, designs the factory, understands how all the pieces fit. There's a manager. The manager is in charge of a bunch of VAs, and they're responsible for their particular component in the factory. And then there are the VAs, the workers, right? And the workers just do their little thing. They're a little part of the assembly line. The workers just do that. And the worker only needs to live inside their little box. That's it. This worker lives in their box. And there's 50 others, there's like an Uber driver. This worker leaves because of some random excuse. We just bring other ones in, right? Workers are replaceable, right? Just like Uber, right? Uber's got a whole system. They design the software. They have a support layer that manages all the VAs and drivers and customers, right? But it's the 3 levels. So what I've made here today is at the architect level. Do we expect VAs and random people, customers, clients to understand this? No. But anyone who understands the platform that we're building must understand. Anyone who's building anything inside our system must understand this. I don't care how good of a programmer or designer or whatever you think you are. If you don't understand this whole thing here, none of this will work, right? And a lot of these people that are, we'll just, a manager can be the account manager, VAs or, whatever, they do their VA things. They'll say all this stuff is confusing. Of course it's confusing. This one VA who's doing this one thing, they only need to do this one thing according to the checklist necessary for that particular piece. They don't need to understand how the entire thing fits. It's not like we're keeping it a secret. It's not a secret. It's just too complicated for them. So why are we going to try to confuse them with all this stuff? They just need to do their one little thing here. Like do their little one, whatever that thing is, while we are also trying to automate the thing that they're doing. Once we've done it enough times, we can figure out how to automate it. And pretty much everything here can be automated. Uber drivers, they're still driving Uber, but at some point, the whole thing is automated. It's just a matter of time. So there's nothing new. And we're just slightly repackaging this in other ways because the first few people through it are lighthouses, and the lighthouses pay more money because they want to be first. And they're also successful enough that even a small change, like a 5%, 10% increase to their business is worth the 10K to them. Now, Sally, real estate agent, who's only selling 2 houses a year, is not a fit for her. 10K is a lot of money. She's gonna, call every 2 hours and wondering what's going on and ask all these questions and be a nightmare client. But someone who's already successful, they just want to get it done. They don't want to hear all the details. They're going to assign it out to their other person to get it done, and they will see this. They'll happily pay $100K for this. I know, because all the other people that are selling fake PR, fake press releases, fake whatever, and I won't name names, but other agencies are charging a lot of money to do only a little component of this.
Yeah, not some of those.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a good high-level overview of everything. It makes a lot of sense. I can relate it back to everything that I have seen before, and I see some things that I wasn't taking into consideration as well. So I think that's really good. Yeah, I wanna wrap up everything I'm doing now so we can continue to make progress.
There are 2 components here I didn't mention. We said here there's a 4-stage content factory, but there's actually 6 stages in the social amplification engine. And the first one is digital plumbing. And I didn't mention this because it's something that only the pros want. Only the pros realize that actually this digital plumbing is foundational. It's the cornerstone. Most business owners don't see this as value because, why would I want to set up all this time with tracking and data? The people who are very successful, then you'll see them all the time talk about this. They'll say yep, the best thing I ever learned from Dennis was this digital plumbing, because data is gold. And when we control the data in the right way and organize it, that's like controlling your bank account. You definitely want to maximize those assets and multiply at compound interest. So if they're a client, we're naturally going to step them through all these components because they trust us, and we're going to say, okay, there's a 6-phase process. And they don't need, the best clients, they don't need to understand, why are we using Google Tag Manager? If you really want to know, it's because Google Tag Manager is the universal tag, the container that controls all the pixels, and we drive all our events from there. And there's a reason why it's better inside a container than it is separately, with the pixels and blah, 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 the whole course on it, right? And then the last component, which is just as powerful as digital plumbing, is optimization, which is also known as MAA, Metrics Analysis Action. Why? Because when you are now promoting and you have winners you want to put more money against, you want to make more variations, you want to learn the fact that this one thing is a winner, make 3 more things that are like this and expand the audience and try other things that are similar. Anything that's a winner, let's try to make, Larry calls them unicorn children. You find a unicorn, create unicorn children. And this optimization, which is a cyclical learning testing strategy, this is a learn, do, teach testing, circle testing thing, drives back to digital plumbing because winners provide a stronger signal, more data. That means if it's winning on Facebook, well, shoot, let's copy it into Twitter. Let's copy it into YouTube. Let's copy it into, whatever. Let's make blog posts against it. Let's put more links against this winning piece of content that's on this website. Let's find other people that will say, just like, how do we keep getting more out of what's good? Well, we can't optimize unless you have the digital plumbing to begin with. So there's really 6 phases, but from a client standpoint, we just talk about the 4. Because only the sophisticated clients understand digital plumbing and optimization are the bookends that make the whole thing work. Okay. And once they've gone through this, they'll realize, oh, geez, yeah. I before been producing all this content and processing it, posting it. I hired someone to create 2 shorts a day or whatever, but I freaking have no idea of what the value is because I never put the digital plumbing in place, and then I'm blaming them for lack of ROI. No. Dum-dum, you never put the digital plumbing in place. You have nothing to optimize against. But that's too complex of a thing to start with. We want to get people, oh, you need SEO? This is the right way to do SEO. It's personal brand, but not about you, but collecting what all the other people have to say about you, processing it, so you can rank on your name, linking it together in the right way. And so we have courses here. We have all these courses on SEO, on how to do it the way we're doing it, using these tools and whatnot. You can go and buy those tools yourself. Spend several $1,000s. Good luck trying to figure it out and using the tools in the right way and organizing it and hiring the VAs to do the stuff in the way it needs to be done. Good luck. Whether you do it, VAs do it, good luck trying to do it, right? Go ahead, here's the course. Knock yourself out. Almost no one can figure it out because it's taken me 30 years. Just want to put it out there. Put it out there and people will say, dang, that is complex. It was more sophisticated than I thought. Like, okay, I probably need to hire someone to do that.
Yeah, so I do have questions like around like the links, and the processing. So, maybe
Ask.
Yeah, as time goes, we can get into those things specifically.
I've already done these trainings over and over again. We do them every week at office hours. I've turned them into courses because I know that they're the questions people will ask when they're new to what SEO is. They're new to WordPress. They're new to whatever. We've pre-answered them. There's the odds of a question that's asked that we've not answered 100 times is 0 basically. Maybe there's a chance someone could ask a question that hasn't been asked, but after doing this for so many years, it's unlikely. But the question asked, right? We can point you to the right training, because if we don't understand it, there's no way we're going to build the right system, right? We have to understand it as architects. Yeah, there's literally training on how to use Rank Math. I created the training on how to do this. We have a whole guide on how we push things through Market Scale, for example. We have a whole system that's called the Content Marketing Training on how we write articles the right way. We have a one-pager QA against every one of these things to make sure it's being done, because we know the most common mistakes at every step of the way. We know the most common mistakes that VAs and other people make. But if you have a question, you could ask. It's already in the training, but it doesn't hurt to ask, right? The most difficult part of this whole thing is not whether this system works. It does, because this has been my life doing this for a long time. It's finding competent people that realize that they don't know as much as they think they know. The most difficult thing is people coming in and thinking they're an expert, and them just being so confident about how much they know that they just ignore this thing and they just focus on their one little thing, and they only want to talk about that because they're just blah, 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 blah. I don't want to hear about that. I just want to do this, XML, whatever, RPC thing, right? Yeah, that's great. We can talk about how we're making API calls, but that's not the point, right?
In terms of promoting, what's the most common mistakes you see there?
$1 a day is not promoting. It's number one most common mistake. Number two most common mistake is randomly promoting stuff because they don't understand the goals, content, and targeting. We see VAs do this even today. I saw a whole bunch of updates where VAs were saying, and it's not just VAs, it's anybody that's promoting. And they said, yep, I went ahead and boosted it for $1 a day for 7 days. Yes, but do you know what the goals, content, and targeting are for that particular piece of content? If you don't, then you're just randomly promoting. Did you know the audience on that piece of content is agency owners? If you didn't know that, then how are you going to be successful promoting something? So it goes back to the number one VA mistake, which we made a whole office hours episode on, which is the one I recommended you watch, which is being so focused on graphics editing and WordPress and creative writing and whatever, engineers and stuff, that you forget the strategy. If you don't understand the goals, content, and targeting, doesn't matter what you do. So that's why people fail in promoting. The concept of dollar a day, which is our most popular course, is very simple. Put more money on the thing that's working, right? But then the question is, how do you know if it's working? And most people say, well, whatever gets the lowest cost per engagement. Yeah, that's one signal, but it also has to meet the business goal. You still have to know the goals, content, and targeting, which 99% of people fail on. It's amazing because we tell them that, like, I understand the goals, content, and targeting. Okay, tell me, what's the specific goal, content, and targeting of that piece of content? Well, it's to get more engagement. No, that's not it. Every piece of content, like every article, every video, is there to solve one problem or tell one story to one particular audience to get them to think about one particular thing. Do you know what that thing is? If you don't understand it, then it's not going to work. That's why we're in business, and all these other digital marketers are struggling to get clients because they don't understand strategy, goals, content, and targeting strategy. That's the most important thing, is the strategy. People don't know it. And us as architects, we have to understand the whole system. You have to understand things like what is PAA? What's a knowledge panel? What is this GCT? What is WordPress? What does it mean to make a post on WordPress? How is it that we can collect this information and run it through ChatGPT? How is it that we can set sequences to send messages as people are doing things or haven't done certain things to remind them? I didn't know marketing automation could do that. I thought it was just sending blast emails to everybody in the list. Like, yeah, that's the main thing people use it for. No, but the main thing of marketing automation is if-then triggers. If someone has done something or not done something, send them this and tell them to do this. And it ties with our academy, which shows them in detail, here's how you do it. That's how marketing automation and, our LearnDash, which is our academy, or Buddy Boss and all these other components, that's actually an extension of marketing automation. All of those are part of marketing automation. So Mr. Josh, you're the engineer in charge of all the marketing tools, which means you have to understand the marketing tools more than like how good you are, whatever, CSS, whatever it is, right?
Yeah, so that's where I think I will have some questions in the next few days as I move past just finishing up the connection between these forms and the actual templates, which should be done today. When certain things should be sent out, and who should handle it. So production and then processing, posting and promoting, right? Different stages of that.
But make sure you understand how it's been done. It's been done manually, and you're there to automate it. But if you don't understand we've done this thousands of times. If you go into Basecamp, you'll see we've done this thousands of times over the last 20 years. Like, you'll see it's literally right there.
For sure.
But if you've never done it, if you haven't learned it and you've never done it, then you'll ask questions. So then we'll just have to close this whole thing down, and then I'll privately teach you one-on-one. But then I have to reteach you the entire system from scratch, which obviates the whole point of having the courses and all this, right? Yeah. So it doesn't mean I don't want to answer the questions, but it would be a shame if you as an architect weren't able to understand these things, and the only way you could learn is by me one-on-one explaining it to you. We'd never get there. I'd literally sit there and tutor you for 5 years straight to try to get you to that point, right? But then our business would make no money because I would just be your support VA. We wouldn't be working on any clients because meanwhile you have to make money and the company has to make money, right? But the beauty is, if you're willing to look, you'll see we've done it over and over and over and over and over again. And it's a beautiful thing. It's not like something came up with last week,
Yeah, the kinds of questions that I'm thinking of are very specific, and it'd be mostly just to confirm something before I implement it, but it's related to how to link between the different pieces.
Sure.
And what parts can be automated, which parts can't be. And
everything can be automated.
Yeah.
Once you understand the if-then logic behind it. Right. But the if-then logic is based on manual execution first.
Yeah.
We always do manual execution first, because that's the way to build requirements. It's not a requirements document that you give to the software engineer, and the software engineer blindly implements the requirements documents because that's what they need to be fed. No, that's like what you'd have for offshore engineers. But the way we build software, like we did at Yahoo a long time ago, is we understood the requirements and we built it right then. That's what makes you powerful. Some people call it the product management function. I call it thinking. If you have no brain, then you need to be fed exactly, what data goes where, when, and that logic, because you can't think, right?
Try to get a copy of this.
Yeah. There it is.